coming from Bahumia's media engagement, where he said we have fulfilled 80% of our 2020 manifesto promises. And I think this is actually a very bold statement, and it actually poses a lot of questions and a lot of claims. But how do these claims actually hold up under scrutiny? I'm going to start with you, Larry.
First of all, good morning. Good morning to our viewers. I think that the event, I want to start with the event. Exactly. I think it was a bold decision. And coming just a day after the launch of the NDC's manifesto, where various claims were made and so on. I mean, names were called. I mean, whether or not the government is performing or not, that was also put on the table for everybody to look at and then assess. And so then the next day, in the evening, he invites all journalists, most journalists in the country, to a place like that where he subjected himself to a lot of bombardment and all that. I think that it was good. It enhances our democracy and also give people choices. So you walk into the ballot box and you know clearly what you're going to do, because you feel that you have a need which Mr. A would satisfy if he is elected, or Mr. B would do better if he's elected. So I think that it was good. Now the bit about the performance, 80 versus 28 and so on and so forth. That, like you said, is a very bold statement. And very often I kind of want to run away from politicians who would go and say that, oh, you know something, I did 80, I mean, giving myself a pass mark. I would want, let's say, somebody in academia to put the promises and then the deliveries together, and to convince me that, okay, indeed, this is what has been achieved. Again, I would want somebody in the CSO space
to speak about it.
To speak about it, and then say that, oh, Mr. A, or Party A promised this, and this is the delivery. So you would, that is what, I mean, where I would want to come from. Particularly recently, the performance tracker was launched, and people came up with a lot of claims that most of these, projects which were talked about as having been delivered were non-existent and so on. So I would want to move it away from the politician and then have somebody, as I said, CSO, academia, giving me, a very, facts and figures, and then using that to judge, to inform my decision or my choices.
So obviously, at this point, that means you have no answer to that question. If I ask, do you think he has done that 80% of it?
Oh, 80%, I haven't done that. I mean, I haven't really done any analysis to that effect, as I said, to come to the conclusion that 80 or lower has been achieved. You get it? Exactly. And I can't say that, okay, NDC also achieved 28 or more or less. I can't say that for now.
So, Samans, what are your thoughts on his assertion?
Well, I mean, he made a statement of what he considers as facts. So, like Larry is saying, I think what they've done, there are two things. And at times it saddens me that people in the media don't do the extra job of if like verifying. It almost looks like being dismissive is the way to go if you want to be a good media person. When you are dismissive, then it means you are good, and that doesn't make you any better. Okay, there are two ways of looking at this: the qualitative way of assessing and the quantitative way of assessing. Okay, in terms, if you look at the qualitative measure, then you are now going to talk about people's experiences. You are talking about people's feelings, the way whatever policies are processed and converted into their well-being. Okay, so that's qualitative. Now, quantitative is picking up the items in a numerative form and then telling us, for instance, if I ask a random question to a journalist that, how many policies did they promise? I don't know how many journalists would know that.
Yeah.
How many promises were contained in the MPP manifesto? I bet you, I don't know how many journalists. So the people who put it together now come and say that out of the number we gave, we have achieved 80%. The first reaction is that you are lying. As if you are lying means that they didn't do it. Or I don't believe it's one statement. Another statement, I am not experiencing it, is another statement. And it's fair if you say you are not experiencing it. Because I'll tell you another thing. The fact that they have done 80% also does not suggest that each element of the promise carries the same weight. Okay? Maybe there's one that says we'll provide chalk. There's one that says that we'll provide caps. Versus the one that says that we'll rebuild Kolebu. So if they provide chalk, they provide cap, it's two. Rebuilding Kolebu is one, but it's weightier. So its impact will be. So there are all sorts of elements that we need to put together. So I think the conversation, whether they have done 80%, which we have not done any work to verify or validate, it should not be the debate.
It should not be the discussion.
Debate is that what is our experience? And that's fair. If somebody says that since you have done 80% of the job, I do not believe that my situation or my fortunes have been positively impacted. Then you are sharing your personal experience. But just, oh, they are lying, they are liars. I think it gets a bit too childish for me. So, yes, if they say 80%, I am not, and I have not done the math, so I won't be able to.
Right.
But I think that let's move to the qualitative part as well as the quantitative.
All right, so talking about the qualitative part, do you think that it has impacted the average Ghanaian?
Well, are we speaking for the average Ghanaian?
Yes, at the point.
The average Ghanaian is in the street.
So there are two of them.
Yeah.
There's one that is called the average Ghanaian, and there's one that's the common Ghanaian. Yes.
So the average.
Which one?
And then when you are in opposition, you say the good people of Ghana. The good people of Ghana. When you are hotter, then you rap as that the good people of Ghana.
When does my brothers and sisters come in?
No, when you become the Ogboro.
My brothers and sisters.
Then there's fellow Ghanaians as well.
Fellow Ghanaians.
Okay.
That's when you're up there.
When you're up there.
When you are the Oga Pata Pata Pata.
Highest echelon.
Yeah. But sometimes I wanted to find out, do we blame the journalists that they are, let's say, doubtful of what the politicians are putting out?
No, you can't blame anybody for doubting.
Yes.
I mean, doubting is an expression of a feeling.
Maybe in the Bible.
But I'm saying that when you state emphatically that somebody is a liar, then you should have alternative facts. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But I doubt it. It's okay to doubt.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I doubt it because the way I feel, I do not think it's okay. But to say you are lying, I don't understand.
Yeah, it's to the extreme. So what are your facts?
Yes, what are your facts?
That's all I'm saying.
What are your facts?
But when we look at it, I also think maybe the media also could be speaking for the average Ghanaian from what they have heard, from what they have heard people say.
There's something that we get to confuse ourselves with all the time. There's the political media and then there's a corporate media.
Sure.
Then there's social media.
And then there's the social media.
And then the paid for social media.
You get it. So
well, I'm saying, Baby.
Okay, so if I'm doing purely partisan political media, I mean, okay, I'll go like he's saying, oh, it's a lie.
Yes,
you haven't achieved shishi. Okay, and then I leave it at that. But if I'm doing, let's say, corporate media, profit motive, all that and so on, I could come to you and say that, Charlie, justify whatever it is that you're saying.
Yeah.
And then show me project upon project, facts and figures.
Yeah.
And I'm putting it across and getting somebody to sponsor it or even you sponsoring it.
Right.
You understand? So very often we get to confuse,
all that.
people exactly with all that. What is it that we want?
Right.
Okay, am I doing that to project my candidate? or I'm just doing that just to, douse your, your fire, as it were. Yeah.
Okay, so earlier on, you actually started this conversation with the media engagement. Do you think it's actually a strategic momentum to build up, his image or his party for the upcoming election, or it's actually a genuine accountability exercise?
Chris, I think that our politics has matured significantly to a point where it is no longer the insult, okay?
Back and forth.
Back and forth. I mean, shouting at each other across the table. We are no longer at that level now. Even if you do that, people wouldn't believe you. Do you understand? To where, okay, I want to do A, I'll do B, I'll do that. I mean, that people, the launch of the 2 manifestos, people have started saying, now listen, there's a focus on youth from both sides. Okay? There is also what there's also something else that people talked about, that the economy, both parties are agreeing that things are not good and that there's supposed to be a reset. Okay? Others are saying there's going to be an upgrade and all that. So it's we are the stage where policy is driving our choices. And that the average Ghanaian or the fellow Ghanaian or, our brothers and sisters or the common Ghanaian, they are watching this program because they want to be informed.
Right.
They are asking you, okay, why should I vote for party A or party B?
Right.
Okay? But party B promised something. He didn't deliver. But party A did. Okay? And that if I should vote for party A, I'll get A, B, C, D, out of that. So we've gotten to the policy stage. I mean, the debate has been on. When President Mahama was campaigning, everything looked as though, okay, NDC was cruising to victory. Until Bawumia also joined the campaign and then started moving across the country, and then things have changed since then. People are not sure anymore, which party they should vote for. Oh, I mean, you hear people say that the way MPP is going, if you don't take it, they could win the election again. They could break the 8 indeed. And then others are saying that, no, I mean, they haven't fulfilled all the promises that they gave Ghanaians in 2016. And so, I mean, we are at the point where now manifesto is what we are debating now. And that is going to lead us, into the polls, and then we'll come out better, exactly. And if we should build upon it, it's an incremental thing. We could get somewhere better.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to what he said about the 80%. So I'm just going to go back to some of the points from the 2020 manifesto, and we can look at that together to see.
That's 2020.
Yes, because because his assertions were actually from the 2020 manifesto.
Yeah, that's the quantification here.
All right. So here we have promises made: the economy, cleaning up financial service mess, a government machinery that works, digitization of government services, trade, industry, agriculture and rural development, education, health development, and so much more. But now I'm going to start with education. So the education sector, do you think they have done great?
They've done something that nobody has done. It's not me thinking, but it's just a matter of fact. Opened access to an unprecedented level. In opening access, it will come with challenges, and it takes time to fix the challenges. But for me, access overruns everything. Access. And once you open access, it's a hooray for everybody. For me, that's it.
Right. So
the next is how to put quality to the access. And that is a process that will take multiple governments in government to get to the quality. I mean, even in the developed world, not every school has the same quality. But access is key, and they have done amazing with the access. No two ways about that.
Right. So what about the economy?
What about the economy?
Yeah. So
maybe to do a generic statement of economy, let's look at the indicators of the economy. So if you ask me specific indicators
that will,
GDP now versus then, interest rates now versus then, then we can discuss. But economy like that, I don't know what to say.
No, I'm asking what about the economy, especially as
the macro, micro, which one?
As a common Ghanaian, bread and butter,
but
exactly.
That's not economy.
Yeah,
that's not the entire definition of the economy.
No. But
there are indicators. Yeah. That's how you measure. So I'm just saying that we have to compare. If we are doing a comparative analysis, then let's look at the elements and compare. But sweeping statements, yes, it may sound like, yeah, we have beaten them to it, but we are not fighting anybody. We are media people. Let's do the correct thing. Let's do proper comparison. That's all I'm saying.
Where do we start from?
No, you have to ask the question, item by item, because we are doing a comparison. Okay.
Fuel prices then and fuel prices now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That we have to do that kind of comparison. Okay, if you want to check, tell me the fuel prices in 2016. Then we can look at it. That's all I'm saying. Okay. That's how I would do it. Because the way I feel now versus the way I feel 2016, I don't even remember how I felt 2016.
Okay. Obviously.
But what is a matter of fact is the numbers. The measures.
The argument has been that fuel prices, let's say a liter of fuel in 2016 was less than 5 Ghana cedis. But then today we are dealing with almost 15 plus. Yeah.
Well, that's bad. I mean, that's bad. You can't. There's no way to justify that. But we also would know that the fuel prices had risen to 23 cedis.
Yeah.
Only a year or so ago.
And came down.
And has come down.
Right.
Okay. So, and it is also consistent with what is happening in other countries, including the United States of America. So I'm just saying that it's not to justify, but at least we need to paint the real picture so people can take their decisions. So it's not like every other country, including the US, the UK, everything is coming down and Ghana alone is going up. Even in Nigeria, they are queuing for fuel. On the continent of Africa, I don't know which country will surpass Nigeria in production of crude. They are queuing.
Nigeria's situation is a very unique one.
Well, it can be unique, but that's not what they wished for themselves.
True.
That's not what they wish for themselves. So I'm just saying that the forces of demand and supply and global politics come into play. We have not done as well as we want to do with fuel pricing in this country in the last, say, 1-2 years. Okay, it could be better. But we have also seen the downward trend in the last year and a half or so. It went up to 23 cedis per liter. Yeah. And it's come down to 15. Maybe it could go down further. But we're yet to see. But there are other indicators. It's not just fuel.
Right. So let's come down to the health sector. The health sector is one that actually affects a lot of people. And if we look at what's going on, recently we've been talking about the issue of dialysis. And it's been one of the topics that keeps coming up and coming up. So do you think the health sector has been,
am I supposed to answer that one too?
No, Larry.
In the health sector has been what?
Yeah, progressive, better. Did they...
Are we saying
have they bettered it in any way? I mean, this is coming from the whole assertion of the 80% of everything being done.
Yeah. Well, I think that, see, development or policy making is an what do you call it? There's a rational policy making and then there's incremental policy making. Now, somebody built, let's say, hospitals. Somebody would want to put in human resources. You get it. Somebody's duty is also to supply whatever equipment there are, medicines and all that, consumables for us to get to a better place. Now, I have always, lamented about how we reduce health to just infrastructure. I built this hospital. How many hospitals did you build?
True.
I did this. How many did you do? I did that. I did chip compound. How many have you built? So, but then while we are stuck in that argument, one particular issue that keeps coming, it's how professional are people, as in the medical, personnel that are running some of these hospitals and so on. the corruption that is there, what is to come for you to give me quality health care is always on the table. Okay? And like I said, you could see some convergence in this whole argument about, manifesto, what the NDC is promising to do, and then what the MPP is promising to do. The two presidential candidates have spoken about dialysis or kidney treatment and so on, the common diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, and all those things keep coming up. So I think we've gotten to the stage where the infrastructure is no longer, an argument, but then what kind of treatment, quality delivery. Okay. Kolebu in recent times, hasn't been that, the report from there hasn't been that encouraging. Okay, the number of people who are losing their lives. You could have people have even formed association of, people living with kidney issues. Just to share their grievances, exactly, and become a pressure, a pressure group on the conscience of the country. So then you hear that this number of people have died out of, not getting the kind of treatment they are supposed to get. How long can we be involved in that kind of thing? And you have Kolebu officials coming, no, it's not true that this number of people have died. Listen, we need to do something, very, people who are in positions of trust. The little things are what matter, not the wild things, huge infrastructure. True. But when you enter, it's more skeletal than you think. What are they treating? What are they treating? Beyond kidney, there are other health conditions as well. Are they meeting that challenge? How about how did the people get to even the kidney issue in the first place? So all those things, I think, can we do, let's say, the preventive as opposed to curative kind of, situation? These are the debates that we need to engage in. But I'm happy that the two manifestos are talking about, the kidney and all that and so on. We should add more and go
like the policy part.
Yes,
I think the policy part
is also very important. And go beyond the buildings.
The buildings, true.
Let's go beyond the buildings to human resources, to what they are treating. Okay, right. I think that will make Ghana better.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So still talking about manifestos and promises. Let's move to Mahama. Political appointees.
Oh, you didn't ask him about the health matter.
Oh no, but he talked about the economy.
No, okay. But I also spoke about the economy.
Oh. so you really want
can't take it away from him. He has a lot of perspective when it comes to the health issue.
Well, unless she wants to skip.
Yeah, I think she wants to skip.
Okay, Samuel, do you have anything to say about that?
What did they say about health again?
No, we were asking from the whole 80% discussion. So when we look at the health sector, do you think the health sector has improved from what it used to be in
but we
from 2020?
don't have the figures, so how do we know? It's just what you think is not it. But the point is that you can't use just dialysis alone to dismiss somebody's efforts. Just dialysis? Because you see, if you look at the sub-region, there are common ailments that are unique to us.
Yeah, malaria,
tuberculosis, typhoid,
pneumonia,
and all these things.
Maternal health care.
Yeah, maternal problem.
And all these things put together would constitute about 80% of the problems. I'm telling you, all these things put together, I'm just on the website for, you have cholera, typhoid, malaria, TB, anthrax, tetanus, yellow fever, measles, hepatitis, HIV, schistosomiasis, and things like that. Constitute about 80%. So now you have a certain 20.
Guinea worm is not part. Guinea worm is not there.
Guinea worm has been eradicated in most places. When we were young, it was prevalent. But I'm just saying that every government would first and foremost focus on the kind of diseases that affect the larger populace, which will include malaria. So you tick the box in malaria and all these things, and you come to these, if you like, the isolated but also very important critical diseases. And the effort to if you like, resolve the emerging issues there is not the kind of thing that comes in a day. Go to the United Kingdom and see the success rate for this problem that you talked about in Kolebu. Let's check how much people pay to access that kind. And you see that we cannot be competitive. The world over, we just cannot be competitive. So the government has to take a bold decision. And like Larry said, the preventive measures, we need to spend more money there, because then people are not overly exposed. Because once you get into that area, it's difficult to come out of it. And you know, the care that is required for people with this kind of disease, it's not an easy thing. It's not easy at all.
Apart from being expensive, it's not easy to...
It's not easy. But people get there and they have no choice but to just live their life, you know. So I think that some of these things, the government programs like we have had for HIV, we had had for
malaria too,
other things, we should have a more robust government program to deal with some of these ailments, and not just to leave people on their own, go to the hospital when you like, when you can afford, you know. And with this kind of problem, private hospitals are making a kill out of it.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Private hospitals are making a kill out of it. So I think we need a more robust program for some of these ailments.
Right.
You know, most of, just 1 minute, so most of the things you hear from the Ministry of Health are stories about procurement. Procurement. Huge procurement. I mean, this day and age, you and I are, witnesses to reports of medicines being stuck
at the port.
At the port.
Yeah.
Purchase of ambulances, which have become an issue. There is the before, and then there's the after.
True.
Oh, how much did you buy this one? How come it came and then it got stuck at the port? Why didn't you clear it? Financial loss to the state. I mean, why? Ghana?
All right.
We can do better.
All right.